Blakey was in a fog the entire way to his favorite Chinese takeout. Even though his wife had left almost a year ago, the failure of his marriage felt official. He caught himself losing time in the parking lot. The graffiti crocodile on the wall outside the restaurant had come to life and recited, "How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale?" It then told him to wake the fuck up and stop chasing windmills. The visions continued on his way to the front door. He could swear he saw a sheep driving a scooter through an intersection 2 blocks away. He stumbled into the restaurant and slumped to the bench near the door, activating his back like it were a poison pump. His vision blurred, and he looked up to find the looking-glass lion working in the kitchen. The beast's mane dangled out of its hairnet like pad thai noodles. Its fat, well-fed belly stretched his blood-stained apron out to an obscene tightness. Emphatically chopping with a fiendish, satisfied expression, he watched Blakey the entire time. He winked when he tossed a foot-long, spiraling unicorn horn into a soup pot. Amid the lion fry cook and the clanging, sizzling and chattering of the kitchen, Blakey didn't hear his ringing cell phone. The cashier, a polite but bored teenager, pointed at Blakey and pantomimed phone call. Lost in reflection, watching the late dinner patrons, Blakey finally fished out his phone by the time it chimed, notifying him of a new message. The wife was his unexpected call for the month, so at this time of night it could have only meant business, and he was in no mood. He tried to remember how he got to this point, receiving desperate calls to battle at 9 o'clock at night. As fuzzy as his memory had become, he could always summon the very first call. That abyssal night 8 months prior, end of winter, sitting in the basement, slumped in his easy chair, gun in his lap, debating the act of blowing his brains out. The phone had rung, and he blindly answered as if it might be the deciding voice. "How did you get this number?" It was the only thing he could think of in response. "Looked it up. Your name after I saw you on the news," the voice responded. He wondered if that call ever actually happened. He seemed to fly to that first house, his brain not able to keep up with his body. A dreamy muffle on everything, all the voices he met, the greetings, the family details. They led him to the backyard, a fenced-in quarter-acre with a shed in the corner, mostly hidden by a droopy sycamore tree. Only when he entered the deep, cluttered shed did his senses fully return. The musty smell of wood rot couldn't mask the presence of something worse. When those glinty eyes stared at him from behind bags of potter's soil, adrenaline broke his trance. At first thought, they were raccoon or possum eyes, but when they slowly rose to 7 feet, not blinking or looking away, but tilting slightly to accommodate the ceiling, he knew that he had just crossed the threshold to a new world. That's how the families all found him. Just searched his name. You could find everyone now except the missing. The calls began exactly when he could no longer deal with the construction business and the triviality of everyday life. Cancelled utilities forced him to accept the payments he had refused at first. They never asked for a price when they called, but always had their checkbooks out with humbled, appreciative faces upon completion. He questioned whether to even look at the new message, still feeling disturbed by the onslaught of hallucinations and the state of his wound. He wasn't even sure whether what he was seeing were hallucinations. Head home to the phantasms or go slay some monsters. A hero's work is never done, he thought to himself. After 2 more text exchanges, he made his decision. He paid for his mushu and gave one final glance for the lion, but the regular cook had replaced him, giving Blakey the usual nod of appreciation. He took the stapled brown bag and left before the lion returned or something worse showed up. 20 minutes later, he pulled into the Holly Ridge Estates. Another nice neighborhood. He wished status or income were some sort of clue to follow, but he knew it meant nothing. Shapes needed secrecy, good places to hide, and a quick exit to the dark. He couldn't imagine a successful steal in a townhome or apartment. As Blakey pulled into the circular driveway of $1 million+ home, it began to rain, and the smell of the garlic from his favorite dish beckoned him to speed right out the other end, go home, eat, and pretend to be normal. The pulse of pain from his back seconded the motion to leave, but the startling rap at the car window told him his mooshu would have to wait for the microwave. Felix Needham, an intelligent and kind-looking man dressed in embroidered pajamas, bent at the passenger window. Felix looked ragged under his umbrella. Dark circles of worry underlined his pale blue bespectacled eyes. "Mr. Blakey," he shouted over the rain. It took a moment for Blakey to snap out of his deliberation and lower the window. "We have the basement door barricaded. Please hurry," Felix pleaded. Blakey shrugged from the rain as he grabbed his club from the truck bed box and followed Felix into his house. The Needham home was beautifully decorated with abstract paintings and sculptures Blakey didn't understand. Blakey preferred narrative paintings. N.C. Wyeth was his favorite. There was an edition of Robin Hood he had gotten for Alice with Wyeth illustrations that they both found hypnotic. This led to other Wyeth books and eventual reprints for her room. An ornate cast-iron mirror in the hall to the kitchen caught Blakey's eye before he reflexively looked away, repulsed by his reflection. Felix introduced the Needham family, all quiet, worried, and grouped at the opposite end of the shiny marble and brass-dominated kitchen. There were twin 5-year-old boys, Benji and Lucas, both in one-piece pajamas, dark-haired and clinging to their mother. The wife was Claire. Despite being terrified, Claire appeared attractive and kind-looking while wearing string-tie bottoms and her husband's old dress shirt, which was hastily misbuttoned. The daughter Ruth, fairer and firstborn, stood in front in a sweatshirt and jeans, having not gone to bed yet, and not afraid like the others. Felix started in. "The police, of course, won't come anymore, if you can believe it. They won't come. We've had them out here 3 times. Last week was the final time. They've seen nothing. They don't hear or see anything. Looked at us like we're crazy, and I'm beginning to believe them. I called them tonight. They said, and I quote, 'If you really think your house is haunted, then move.'" As Felix tried to offer the entire history, Blakey's eye drifted to the living room TV, where that same snowshoe hare nature special was on. The host and biologist were frisking an 18-inch rabbit, standing like a human criminal, patting down its fine black dress coat, confiscating its pocket watch and valuables. Blakey shut his eyes to the vision and hoped for a reset. When he looked again, the TV animal experts were tranquilizing a normal hare, tagging it with a GPS tag. He thought, what a useful delusion. Needham continued his story. "When all those children went missing, one, not a mile from here, I got the best security system you can buy. And after the police stopped coming, I got this." Needham brandished a .457 Magnum. Blakey finally tore himself from the TV to push the barrel away, dangerously aimed in his general direction. "Oh, sorry." Felix tried to pocket the lengthy pistol but couldn't, so he just held it, wringing the barrel in his hands. "Guns won't work," Mr. Needham Blakey instructed. Felix seemed at his wit's end. "Whatever you want, however much." Blakey looked at the 3 Needham children. But only the girl, Ruth, seemed to not be near catatonic with fear. She pointed to the basement door. "They're down there." "They?" Blakey made sure he heard right. "Yeah, gotta be at least 3 of them," Felix added as he gestured to the basement. Raw wood planks crossed the door like the arms of a club bouncer. "Well, that's new," Blakey grumbled, thrown for a loop. "Something wrong?" Felix asked, seeing Blakey's apprehension. He had only ever faced one at a time, and in his current state, even that was going to be a long shot.